Hello, horror fans. Welcome back to Jay vs. Horror. I am your host, Jay Wall, and today, guys, it is time for 5 more awesome films you can watch for free. And this time, guys, we didn't just go with horror. We have some thrillers in here and some sci-fi and all kinds of great films for you. Now, as always, guys, I'm going to talk about the films a little bit. I'm going to show you the trailer for each film, and if you want to check it out, you just cruise down to the description in this video and click the direct link, and it will take you right to the movie, and you can watch it anytime you want. Don't forget to like and subscribe, guys, and let's get started. This week at number 5, I have Red Planet. It's a 2000 science fiction thriller horror film directed by Anthony Hoffman, starring Val Kilmer, Carrie-Anne Moss, Tom Sizemore, Terrence Stamp, Benjamin Bratt, and Simon Baker. Great cast here, guys. I can honestly say when it comes to Mission to Mars films, and there are quite a few of them, this is absolutely my favorite one. Our story here starts in 2056 AD. Earth is in an ecological crisis as a consequence of pollution and overpopulation. Automated interplanetary missions have been seeding Mars with atmosphere-producing algae as the first stage of terraforming the planet. However, something goes haywire with the oxygen levels, and the crew of the Mars One space shuttle are sent to investigate. Now, our group here consists of Quinn Birchnell, played by Tom Sizemore, who's a geneticist, Bud Shantless, played by Terrence Stamp, who's kind of an aging philosophical scientist and surgeon, systems engineer, or as he calls himself, space janitor, Robbie Gallagher, played by Val Kilmer, Commander Kate Bowen, played by Carrie-Anne Moss, pilot Ted Santon, played by Benjamin Bratt, and terraforming scientist Chip Pettengill, played by Simon Baker. Now, Mars 1 is then damaged during arrival by a gamma ray burst, and the ship's captain, played by Carrie-Anne Moss, decides to stay behind and try to get the ship ready for an evacuation when everyone's done. So we basically have like an away team here from Star Trek that's sent down to Mars, and they are investigating this oxygen reduction, but at the same time, crazy intense stuff is happening. They end up kind of turning on each other a little bit. They've also brought this really cool machine with them, this robot called Amy, who was sent to help them out. But Amy has many functions, and she also has a survival mode, or as I like to call it, a kill humans mode. And when they crash land on the planet, she gets stuck in that mode and starts coming after all of them, which makes the film even more exciting. Great performances here from Val Kilmer, Terrence Stamp, and Tom Sizemore, even though apparently on set Val Kilmer and Tom Sizemore hated each other and had it out a few times. Just overall a really fun space exploration film. Let's take a look at the trailer for Red Planet.
Cute, huh?
Not really.
She could have hurt me.
Yeah, took away her knife. Inside, she's all Green Beret.
The Mars Terraforming Project will be the greatest achievement in the history of human exploration. We have to make Mars the future, or mankind is history.
Ready? Big day.
No room for mistakes either.
Gentlemen, we're eating dinner on Mars.
We're off target. Auto guidance systems out.
Mars ground crew, this is Mars 1. Do you hear me? Over. Mars ground crew, this is Mars 1. Do you copy? Over.
At number 4, Just Cause. It's a 1995 American crime thriller film directed by Arnie Glenchmer and stars Sean Connery, Lawrence Fishburne, Ruby Dee, Blair Underwood, Ed Harris, and Kate Capshaw. So another great cast here, guys. And it's based on the novel from John Katzenbach of the same name. Now, in the film, Sean Connery plays Paul Armstrong, who is a very liberal Harvard professor and a former lawyer who is opposed to capital punishment. And one night, after one of his speeches, he is approached by an elderly woman, played by Ruby Dee, to go to Florida to investigate the conviction of her grandson, Bobby Earl Ferguson, played by Blair Underwood, for murder. Ferguson, a former Cornell University student, was convicted of raping and brutally murdering a young white girl named Joni Shriver. Ferguson tells Armstrong that he was physically and psychologically tortured by two police detectives to get a forced confession from him, but he firmly states now that he is 100% innocent. And Armstrong, believing in his innocence, sets out on this crusade to save him. Now, guys, this is a great thriller film. It has a lot of twists and turns and a lot of interesting characters, including Lawrence Fishburne, who shows up to play Tanny Brown, who is a detective who fully believes that Bobby Earl Ferguson is guilty of this murder and wants to see him executed from it. And we also run across a crazy serial killer played by Ed Harris in a very underrated and chilling performance. All in all, guys, this is a great film, and Sean Connery actually turned down a part in Braveheart to do this film because he loved the story so much. So let's take a look at the trailer for Just Cause.
A brutal murder.
This girl, Joni Shriver, I don't know.
A forced confession.
I refuse to believe in any government which is willing to trade torture for torture, death for death.
A renowned professor of law.
They're gonna kill my boy.
It's 25 years since I practiced
He
law.
said find Mr. Paul Armstrong and give him this.
Driven by conscience to take the case.
I knew Robert Earl was bad news first time I ever laid eyes on him.
I don't hear any evidence.
But we didn't need any. We had a confession.
The guy's on death row. I want you to help him get his life back.
The old girl said you was gonna be cold, and I said no.
Please.
Now, if I really talked with that kind of verbal bucket shuffle, I'd be a free man today.
What's your game? Did you kill Joni Shriver?
I didn't do it. But I know who did. Just read the signs.
What signs?
Seek, and ye shall find.
Buried deep in the Florida Everglades is a secret that can save an innocent man.
Got them all fooled, don't you? Even that know-nothing Harvard fool.
Or free a killer.
Rejoice, for a great injustice is about to be undone.
To kill again.
Daddy?
Laurie. Now, every step he takes puts his family closer to danger.
Laurie!
And brings him closer to the truth.
See, I pushed the buttons to make you do the dance.
Did you kill her?
At number 3, Raw. It's a 2016 coming-of-age horror drama film written and directed by Julia Ducournau and starring Garance Maillet and Ella Rumpf. The plot follows a young vegetarian's first year at a veterinary school when she tastes meat for the first time and develops an unhealthy craving for flesh. Guys, this is a fun film, and it's a totally different look at the cannibal subgenre. It is a slow burn for sure, but I like the story a lot. I like the performances, and I really enjoyed the end of this film, so I think that any time you put into it is actually well worth it by the time the film reaches its finish. The film premiered at the 2016 Cannes Film Festival on the 14th of May 2016 and was theatrically released here in the United States on March 10th, 2017 by Focus World. Now, originally the film received great critical acclaim with praise for its direction and screenplay. However, after its theatrical premiere, some critics did start to tear it down because of its use of graphic violence. However, we all know when it comes to horror that a lot of critics out there are just paid haters, right? With that being said, let's take a look at 2016's new age modern cannibal film, Raw. number 2, The Unborn. It's a 2009 American supernatural horror film written and directed by David S. Goyer, and the film stars Odette Yusman as a young woman who is tormented by a Dybbuk, which is explained in Jewish folklore as a malevolent, wandering spirit that enters and possesses the body of a living person until exorcised. Our story starts off with Casey Belden, played by Odette Yusman, who is having nightmarish hallucinations of strange-looking dogs in the neighborhood and of an evil child with bright blue eyes following her around. While babysitting Maddie one night, her neighbor's son, she finds him showing his infant sibling its reflection in a mirror. Maddie attacks Casey, smashing the mirror on her head, and tells her that Jumby wants to be born now. She puts him to bed and leaves in shock, but then later Casey's friend Romy tells her of a superstition that newborns should not see their reflections in the mirror for at least a year because otherwise they will soon die. As the film moves on, we find out more about what's happening with this character Jumby, and also what's happening with Casey as we find out some of her past that lends itself to what's going on here. Now guys, The Unborn is not the greatest horror movie of all time, but I thought it was a pretty good paranormal mystery, and I like that it takes on Jewish folklore because we see a lot of the same stuff over and over and over, and I like it when films reach out and show us some stuff we didn't know, like Irish folklore or Jewish folklore or some of the great Asian horror films that we've seen. So no, while I can't say this film is truly great, it's pretty good, guys, and it has a very interesting story behind it. Let's take a look at the trailer for The Unborn.
So, for the kids, the baby was down when I got here and the 4-year-old conked out as soon as I read to him. Okay, hang on. Some people are doorways. What are you doing, Maddie? You have to go. Ah!
He wants to be born now.
Case, there's something wrong with your eye. What are you talking about?
One iris is a different color than the other, which happens occasionally when you're dealing with twins.
I'm an only child.
Hey, you alright?
Am I twin, Dad?
He died while the two of you were still in utero.
Your mother never told you, but I knew. By living, you denied it entry into our world.
Do you think it's possible to be haunted by someone who was never even born? What's happening to me is real.
Get out of here! Go!
It's not safe to be around me. How do I stop it?
This is the video record of the attempted exorcism of Casey Belden.
You sure you want to go through this?
I just want this to be over.
At number 1 this week, guys, we have Phantasm 2, and I am excited to recommend this film because of a couple reasons. One, it's not been available on streaming anywhere ever until now. It was the only film in the franchise that was made by a separate studio, so you could never get the rights to stream it with the rest of the franchise, and now it has landed on Tubi. Used to be you had to get HBO or Cinemax to watch Phantasm 2. Now it's free on Tubi, and it's my favorite film in the franchise, to be honest with you guys. It's a 1988 American science fiction fantasy action horror film, and it is the sequel to the original Phantasm from 1979. It was written and directed by Don Coscarelli and stars Angus Scrimm, James LaGrosse, and Reggie Bannister. In this one, we see the first film's protagonist, Mike, recently released from a mental institution, and he recruits Reggie along with some new friends in an effort to defeat the villainous Tall Man. The film kind of picks up after the events of the first Phantasm, and then it becomes a weird kind of buddy road movie. It's not heavy on plot, but I absolutely love this film, and it is the first Phantasm film that I saw. I was actually a little disappointed by the original after seeing this one. I thought it was going to be on the same level, but this one has a greater production value than any other film in the franchise. Guys, this is going to sound like horror movie blasphemy, but this is one film I would actually like to see be remade. I would like to see the original Phantasm be remade and incorporate some of Phantasm 2 into that script. I think it would be a fantastic film, especially now with all the technology we have. And can you imagine somebody shooting this in 3D and you're sitting in the theater and the balls are like flying everywhere and look like they're going to stab you in the face? I don't know if it would work or not, but for me, if I was going to remake a classic horror film, this would be the one that's on my list, Phantasm and Phantasm 2, in a way where they're kind of rewritten together. With that being said, guys, let's take a look at one of my favorite films of the 80s, Phantasm 2.
Phantasm, the delusion of a disordered mind, a phantom, a spirit, a ghost. For 10 years, the secret of Perigord Cemetery has remained a mystery. Now, 3 innocent people are about to discover the ultimate evil.
You think that when you die, you go to heaven. You come to us.
We've got to warn people.
This summer, the ball is back. Phantasm 2.
It's only a dream.
It's a dream.
No, it's not.
All right, horror fans, that's all we've got for this week. I had a great time, as always, recommending these films to you guys. And don't forget to leave me some comments. Recommend some films to me. There's still some out there that I haven't seen. Just the other night, I was doing a show with Bo Ransdell, and he mentioned a horror film I had never seen before called Day of the Animals. So I'm going to be checking that out this afternoon, and I can't wait for your recommendations too. Guys, check out our Patreon page. It is in the description below. Last night, we gave away Friday the 13th, the complete series, all 3 seasons, to one of our patrons who donated as little as $2 a month. If you donate as little as $2 to $5 a month to the show, you're entered in our monthly drawing. Every month on the 1st, we have a drawing. We give away 2 free Blu-rays or whatever cool prize we have for that month. So guys, check it out if you get a chance. And as always, we will talk to you the next time we've got something worth talking about. Bye.